You are now listening to the Be Your Own #Love Goals podcast with Moe Ari
and Tiffany.
We just want you to remember that every person, regardless of identity, wants these three things: belonging, authenticity, and love.
And after a decade of partnership, we've learned to co-create these things and so much more.
So from wherever you're listening, we're going to go on a journey of becoming our own #Love Goals. Now let's get into this episode. You are now listening to the Be Your Own #Love Goals podcast with Moe Ari
and Tiffany.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I get to start this episode with a question from a listener, and I'm just really, really excited about it. We are always honored when you talk back to us and ask us questions. This one comes at the core of this question from this listener is about what it means to begin a relationship and have bad experiences from the past. So essentially she was asking, she said, I met a new guy. We had amazing chemistry in the beginning. The first day we met, it was like amazing. And I could tell that we were both really into each other and we felt something. And then after getting to know him for a while, you know, he kind of got more and more hesitant. And I'm really trying to understand like what his hesitance might be. And he has mentioned some challenges in the past. What's that about? And so essentially I took the question to me, is his past getting in the way of him wanting to move forward with me?
Yeah.
And maybe that was me listening too deeply. Maybe that's not what's being asked.
Yeah.
But at the core of it, is that what's happening? Now I wanted to kind of throw that your way. Like, what do you think about that scenario and how people approach relationships, maybe having had a difficult past, and if you see that hesitation come up when people talk about dating?
So I'm thinking, if I put myself in this listener's shoes and I was having this experience with this person, I would absolutely 100% feel like their past dating experiences have impacted what we have or what we're trying to create, right?
Yeah.
And I think that history or those experiences, if not talked about, or if the person is not aware of them, can really seep into a relationship, even at the dating phase, even at the point of us meeting, you know, having our first date and getting to know one another. If you are not aware of the impact that those things have had, not willing to talk about them, or just kind of sweep it under the rug, they are going to appear. Like, they are not going to stay hidden. And, you know, I just have so much empathy for people that are on the dating scene right now. I really, really do, because I think it's a real challenge for everybody across the board. And I see personally how past experiences impact me on a day-to-day basis. So in the dating space, if you had a difficult relationship, or, you know, you're bringing trust issues from a past relationship, or, you know, there was some infidelity or whatever the case might be, if it's something that is unchecked, if it's something that you have not healed, if it's something that, you know, you feel like the next person might do or the next person might not do, I feel like there's no way that is not gonna impact the relationship, especially without that awareness. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, you know, that's a real challenge.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of opportunity though in the dating space, because your past experiences, they inform a lot of how you show up. It's just about how we carry it. And I want to know so many things, and I don't have like all of the information with this listener, but I want to know like how they feel about their past experiences, if they feel like they were able to talk to this person about, you know, maybe what was coming up for them. You can't really be their therapist, I want to know more about how they're showing up. Are they like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm jaded and broken, or are they
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
just calling less or whatever? Is
Yeah.
it hesitance or is it
Right.
some other challenge that's happening?
Mm.
um there's a lot more to explore, but it gets me to this larger question
Mhm.
than about there's this idea of like hesitating and things like that, or just like people
Yeah.
showing up to relationships more cautious.
Mhm. Mhm.
um and it makes me wonder how to prevent those past experiences from impacting the relationships we're creating today.
Mm.
So if how do we date with an open heart? How do we
Mm.
make new connections from a place of vulnerability
Mhm.
and honesty and openness,
Mhm.
so that we're not recreating the same stuff
Mhm.
over?
Mhm.
Uh the Our shaman,
Yeah.
she always says what you resist persists.
Mm.
So if you like avoid new relationships because you don't want more of the
Yeah.
same, you're going to recreate that
Mhm.
because that energy is still there with
Mhm.
you. It's kind of
Mhm.
haunting you.
Mhm.
It's going to show up in your past, present, future
Mhm.
until you say no more.
Right.
I'm actually going to meet this energy. I'm going to
Mhm.
say, I'm going to lean in here in this relationship. You have to choose.
Yeah.
Now, who you choose to do that work with is your choice, but it's
Mhm.
going to be your work regardless.
Yeah.
That's my advice for anybody that's like hesitantly moving
Yeah.
forward.
Mhm.
Eventually, you have to choose to take that leap, and
Mm.
that's where the work begins to heal,
Yeah.
to grow, to move on. I think a lot of times people think I must not be ready because I still feel this pain,
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
and I think that that is a misunderstanding. A lot of times we'll meet a person that's like still talking about their ex, and we'll say they must not be moved
Yeah.
on. Now, as a therapist, I know that it's how they talk about their ex that matters.
Mm.
I don't mind people talking about their exes. They
Mhm.
were loves that
Mhm.
existed in their
Mhm.
lives.
Mhm.
That's not going to
Mhm.
change. I wonder how they're talking about their ex. So, for
Got
instance,
it.
this is what I call people out on.
Yeah.
If you're talking about your ex and you're like, they were the worst person in the world, and they really just did me
Mhm.
wrong, and that's why I have to get up out of there. I
Yeah.
learned my lessons. You haven't learned anything.
You're right.
Your lesson was that they're a mirror for you. Your lesson was that they came to teach you some type of lesson that you needed. Your
Mhm.
lesson was that they are not uh, any worse than you.
Mhm.
Your lesson was that they are sacred and connected to who you
Mhm.
are, and that love is a special gift no matter how long we're able to
Mhm.
experience it.
Mhm.
So if you're talking about your ex in that way,
Yeah.
we got some work to do for you to even be ready for a relationship, because that's a broken hearted
Mhm.
work
Mhm.
that you're going to take into your relationship.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about your ex and you're like, wow, that was one of the greatest loves of my life,
Mhm.
I'm still healing from the fact that I had to release that, and that relationship is complete, but I'm ready to meet somebody new.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's somebody with potential. They
Yeah.
might still bring up their ex from time to time. That is not There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I don't see that as hesitant. So I just want to clarify more about what I'm saying, what we're talking about when we say
Say
hesitant or
hesitance.
not ready or
Yeah.
still talking about the past. I
Mhm.
think it's really how people talk about the past
Yeah.
for me that signals their readiness.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I can see that. It really is about how they talk about it, and also their level of curiosity about
Mm-hmm.
what is like in the right now. I bring to the table all of these experiences, these past relationships and the things that come with it. And I am so curious about who you are. I don't want to assume that you're
Yeah.
this because of that. I don't want to assume that you're just like my ex because you do that thing that's just like them.
Yeah.
But I want to have a heart and a mind that is
Mm,
curious
mm.
and really willing to be able to turn over some of those narratives that you had in your head. Now, I would venture to say that some healing will probably have to occur to be
Mhm.
able to, see beyond some of these things that might be triggering or some of these things that might be reminiscent of past experiences or relationships. But the level of curiosity, I think, can be well received from a person when you're getting to know them, to really say, like, oh, they really want to know about me, like
Right.
me right now, who they're dating, not
Yeah.
who they think I am, who they think I should be, if I'm like that person, if I'm like their mom, like whatever the thing is, like really having curiosity. And I think because of the hesitance that people have with dating, it can be a challenge to be curious, because I think curiosity takes vulnerability.
Yeah.
For you to sit there and like say, okay, I know, I had this experience, but I really want to get to know this beautiful person that, I've met, and I really want to get to know them. I want to ask them all the questions. You really have to say, like, I'm going to put myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to open my heart.
Yeah.
I'm going to go all in. Like, I'm going to commit to getting to know them.
Yeah.
And I think then the lack of, because we've been hurt, let's say,
Yeah.
we don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
We literally just don't. And so
Yeah.
then we can then not be curious as
Mm-hmm.
well, which I think is important when really trying to get to know someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Especially in new relationships, this curiosity is really, well, in all relationships. Before I
Yeah.
even set my mouth to lie, in every relationship,
Yeah.
this kind of curiosity is important. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about in the beginning of a new relationship, just how nurturing curiosity can be,
Yeah.
and how inspiring curiosity can be,
Mm-hmm.
how motivating, how connecting,
Mm-hmm.
how grounding,
Mm-hmm.
how substantial to a relationship
Yes.
curiosity is. I could go
Yes.
on and on.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pivot back
Yeah.
to something we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
as we're talking about the past,
Mm-hmm.
because I think the past, it's almost like, one, time is not linear, so we
Mm-hmm.
can go on and on about how the past is a construct.
Yeah.
But just thinking about the past as we have understood it in our 3D reality,
Mm-hmm.
I want people to go even further back than their last relationship when
Okay.
they talk about the past.
Okay.
So I think sometimes we come in talking about our previous relationship when we're really talking about our mother.
Tell the truth.
I think sometimes we're talking about our previous relationship with our ex,
Yes.
and we're talking about our father.
Yes.
We're talking about our current partner, and we're really talking about our father.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want us to really get clear when we're talking, when we're bringing in things that have happened
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to us,
Mm-hmm.
that we really examine and understand the depths of what has happened to us. If you are going to talk about your ex like a dog,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to really tell the truth and tell it all about
Mm-hmm.
where that pattern, where that relationship, where that hurt came from, or where it
Mm-hmm.
began. So
Mm-hmm.
many of us are carrying traumas
Mm-hmm.
and pain from years and years and years that we haven't spoken,
Yeah.
because, and it's easier to talk about the ex and
Mm-hmm.
to imbue your hatred for
Mm-hmm.
for that relationship with all that toxicity and all that leftover pain that you're carrying
Mm-hmm.
from years and years and years of
Mm-hmm.
abuse, hurt, disappointment, rejection.
Mm-hmm.
So then that ex gets to be the container for all of it.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Mm-mm.
And it's not going to help you heal. It's not going to help
No.
you, have a quality relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying this because I'm the pot calling the kettle black. I have done this.
Yeah.
I'm just like you. I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying from experience, sometimes we're talking about an ex, but we're talking about old hurts, even
Mm.
older.
Yeah.
The way I came to understand this, and then I'm gonna let Tiffany talk.
Mm-hmm.
This is like an important thing. The way that I
Yeah.
came to understand that I must be talking about something deeper. It's because when you really think about it, when you really, really think about it, if I had not had an a prior experience that taught me what a hurt was, what would I be afraid of? What would I be
Mm.
hesitant about?
Mm. Okay.
If there wasn't already a narrative
Mm-hmm.
in my mind about a hurt, a trigger, a vulnerability, what would I be reactive to?
Mm.
And I asked myself that question over and over, and I couldn't find an answer outside of, there must be something much further than what made me mad with Tiffany.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why would I be so reactive to this ex that's lying to me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just that they're lying? My reaction is so much bigger about what happened in that relationship. And I've never
Right.
been, and so many of us are like, I ain't never felt about this, about anybody. You know, when we're trying to convince our friends, like, they
Yeah.
really hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to sit with how big that feeling feels.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably coming from somewhere else
Yeah.
that's attaching to it. Of course, that
Mm-hmm.
happened and it's
Mm-hmm.
painful,
Mm-hmm.
but like some of that is layered.
Yeah.
How can you be triggered if the trigger wasn't already there from a previous
Exactly.
experience?
Exactly.
That started to change my narrative and how I was looking at it. And that's what allowed me to get to the root of the things I was healing.
Mm.
It wasn't just about my ex. It was about me, how I was showing up in all relationships because of
Ooh.
old relationship junk,
Yes.
left over from childhood, left over from teenage years, left over from other places.
Mm-hmm.
So my ex was holding a lot of that in my mind. And
Mm-hmm.
then once I released that, I was back to just being like, wow, that was love like that
Mm-hmm.
comes, but a few times every lifetime. And I just am
Mm-hmm.
so grateful to have loved that
Yeah.
and lived in that for just a moment, right? I
Mm-hmm.
was back to that, but it took me
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah. That's a word. Like, absolutely. I feel like those hurts sometimes start way sooner than these exes and
Yeah.
like these other people that we might attribute these hurts to and things like
Yeah.
that. And I feel like if even retrospectively,
Yeah.
as a person that's dating and you think about your exes and you think about the things that you experienced, if even going back you can say,
Mm.
how was this person a mirror?
Mm.
Even aside from like going back to family of origin and what might be happening there, these things that bothered me so badly about what they were doing, what how was it a mirror for me and what I was experiencing? And then I
Mm-hmm.
think it allows you, it would be great if you could do that in the moment, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can't. But if you think
Yeah.
back on it, especially when engaging in new relationships and
Yeah.
wanting to get to know new people,
Yeah.
you can take that in as
Yeah. So
information.
I think an example of that would be like
Mm-hmm.
if you had like an ex that
Yeah.
lied to you a lot. Maybe
Yes.
they cheated on you, they hurt you in some way, they lied
Yes.
to you. Tiffany is asking you or inviting you
Mm-hmm.
into the process of looking at them as a mirror, like a
Yes.
sacred mirror, like you join into that sacred relationship
Yeah.
for that time period to show you something. So if it's complete, then that relationship was a mirror. It wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
one where, you well, all relationships are
Mm-hmm.
mirrors, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a relationship that was supposed to last a long
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So an example of like if they lied to you, they hurt you in all of these ways, ask yourself, where have I been dishonest in
Mm-hmm.
this relationship?
Mm-hmm.
What are they mirroring to me? Or where am I
Yes.
dishonest in my life?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not that you're going around lying and cheating on
Mm-hmm.
people. Sometimes it's that you knew they were cheating and you held your
Mm-hmm.
mouth about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't say anything
Right.
because you wanted to be with them so much. That's a dishonesty.
Right.
That's what that person is activating in you and calling out of you.
Right.
And that's a lot of times what we sit there and being mad about later.
Yeah.
That's what we're carrying into the next relationship. I ain't gonna be hurt again. I'm gonna look out for myself,
Exactly.
knowing good and well you didn't look out for yourself
Yeah.
before. That's why you're holding this other person
Right.
kind of hostage
Right.
emotionally in a way,
Right.
saying, I'm not gonna waste my time. You
Yeah.
wasted it before and now you're mad at yourself and you're beating up yourself saying, I'm not gonna waste my time
Yeah.
again. But you're hurting yourself in the process because
Right.
you could have the prospect of love now, but you're focused on the
Right.
past. And I
Right.
think some of that comes from what you're talking about,
Yeah.
not realizing that we're mirrors.
Right.
And if we allow ourselves to see the mirror in the moment, even better. But
Yeah.
later, they were showing me where I've been
Yeah.
dishonest. And then you could start to trace back.
Right.
Yeah, I learned that dishonesty
Yeah.
very young.
Exactly.
I didn't
Exactly.
speak up when people were, harming me, or I didn't speak up because I wanted to be liked, or I didn't speak up because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to people please.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'm wondering for people like our listener here and other people who might be, in the dating space with a person that they feel as if has past baggage that they're bringing into the relationship that probably negatively impacts the ability to get to know one another. What is their responsibility or role to usher them into this work?
Mm.
So, is it my responsibility to say, well, look back at these exes. How were they a mirror? Or, you know, are you triggered from something in your childhood? Like, what is the responsibility as a person getting to know another person to not do this work for them, but I guess support them in this work?
Yeah. Oh, that's a
Mhm.
great question. I want to hear
Mhm.
your answers to this question too.
Mhm.
I'm struggling with the word responsibility because I
Okay.
almost want to say let yourself off the hook. You don't
Yeah.
have to do anything.
Right.
However, I want to ask a different question
Mhm.
of anybody who's in this situation. I want
Yeah.
to ask you, what is required of love?
Mm.
What is the responsibility of love?
Yeah.
Because if you are meeting someone and this is going to be the love of your life, you have great
Mhm.
romance,
Mhm.
what is the responsibility of love? To just be
Mhm.
love, right?
Mhm.
I fill in the blank because,
Mhm.
I don't want to wait for listener
Yeah.
letters, but like the responsibility of love would then be to maybe call them into love.
Yeah.
So to make them aware
Mhm.
in a compassionate, open hearted,
Mhm.
it, it, example would be like, I hear you. And what
Mhm.
I'm hearing beyond what you're saying is how hurt
Mhm.
your previous experiences have made you feel,
Mhm.
how harmful they were,
Mhm.
and I invite you to the possibility of more.
Mm.
You deserve more. There's a
Yeah.
possibility that we can create something better
Mhm.
than you've
Mhm.
experienced, but you'd have to be open.
Mhm.
I don't mind holding this space with you as you heal.
Yeah.
However, I never, ever, ever want you to conflate who I am with what was.
Yes.
Now, there's a way you can say who you are
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
be, and I think it's important as you say and declare who you are in this world
Mhm.
so that you remain sovereign and separate from what
Yeah.
other people say about you,
Yeah.
think about you, feel about you.
Mhm.
That's important in a relationship.
Mhm.
What they're going through does not
Mhm.
have to be you. So
Mhm.
being clear to say who you are while
Mhm.
being very compassionate and
Yeah.
holding space for what's going on for them.
Mhm.
That's if you want to do that work.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You're not
Right.
obligated. But
Right.
if you are, there's a way to show up that's
Yeah.
very compassionate.
Mhm. I totally agree with you, and I love that you use calling in versus
Mm.
calling out, because I feel like calling out is when we can kind of stray away from the compassion, and I think
Yeah.
defenses go up and
Yeah.
walls go up. And so that level of vulnerability with the person that you really are interested in and wanting to get to know, to be able to say all of the things that you said, I think really can relax
Mm.
some of those things, or really be like, okay, I can settle in here, I can lean in here if you
Yeah.
desire to do that. I think that there's real opportunity there. You don't have to do the work for them or be their therapist, but you can offer compassion, you
Mm-hmm.
can offer support, and I think that that can really go a long way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah.
you're making me think of some other stuff. I'm like, we get a long time, and
Yeah.
I love what you said
Mhm.
because you had me thinking about so much more.
Yeah.
What you were saying is very, very
Yeah.
expansive. And when we think about like the full picture of relationship,
Mhm.
the full picture of like people together in relationship, it's easy to rest right now in dating and say, I'm not those other people.
Mhm.
But think about how much stuff you go through together through
Mhm.
the course of a relationship. At some point, you will have been that person that did that
Mhm.
thing,
Mhm.
and this stuff still is important to learn.
Mhm. Mhm.
So if you learn it now, you will have the capacity to execute it later in the relationship. And
Exactly.
it's nothing worse than bringing baggage into the
Ooh,
relationship,
child.
accumulating that baggage in the relationship
Mm.
because you're going to go through stuff together
Mhm.
and then having all that stuff to work out in your relationship. We did
Yeah.
it. That's why I say it's nothing worse.
Mm-mm.
But you get through it. But it does make your bed a little
Mhm.
harder working
Mhm.
through family of origin, past relationships, this relationship,
Mhm.
all in the same context of a
Mhm.
relationship.
Mhm.
That's not about not having done your individual work. It's not about
Yeah.
not having gone to therapy. We've
Right.
done 8, whatever years of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this realization that stuff is accumulating.
Yeah.
That I am I'm taking this pain or these fears, because sometimes it's not behavior, sometimes it's just your fears
Mm-hmm.
and thoughts
Mm-hmm.
with you into this
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking my fears and thoughts with me into this relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm accumulating stuff in this relationship with this
Mm-hmm.
other person.
Mm-hmm.
So you made
Mm-hmm.
me think about how over the course of a relationship we go through many things together.
So
So these skills
many.
are really important,
Yeah.
and it'll be really important to learn how to call the other person in as you notice these things along the way,
Mm-hmm.
and make a shift from calling
Right.
out, because sometimes it will be you. You won't be
Yeah.
able to. That's what I call a call out.
Yeah.
Don't get me confused with these other people.
Yeah.
I'm not these other people. That's a
Yeah.
call out. A
Yeah.
call in is, babe, I am my own autonomous person,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
am in pain with how much things have hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
I want the opportunity to be my best self in relationship with you. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to have the opportunity to do that as well. How do we be open together?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as things happen throughout the course of your relationship, coming back to that and saying, hey, babe, I know we've been through some stuff. I still
Mm-hmm.
want to be my best self with
Mm-hmm.
you.
Exactly.
You want to be your best self with me?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get through this together? But
Exactly.
when we have all that stuff and we never address it, it's a lot of having to be your best self that has to happen rapidly to
Come
fix
on. Come
it.
on. And I think, we're talking a lot about like other people that come into this dating space of feeling hesitant about dating or wanting to be in a relationship. I think, for people like our listener, or I'll say myself, in a situation of dating, it's important to honor and recognize too the moments that we feel hesitant. Like,
Hmm.
if we feel hesitant about calling in, why? If we feel hesitant about offering compassion, why?
Yeah.
If we feel hesitant about, any manner of thing, I think
Yeah.
as we see this in the other person, if we're all sacred mirrors, we have
Yeah.
to also ask ourselves, why
Yeah.
am I hesitant? Is there a
Yeah.
reason?
Is there a
Is this
reason?
something that we can work through together?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Let's keep this conversation
We
going. I
should.
think that this has been a beautiful episode of the Be Your Own #Love Goals podcast with Moe
And
Ari.
Tiffany.
I look forward to hearing from y'all soon. Have a great day. Be well.
Bye. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Video episodes are on YouTube and Spotify.
If you want your question included in an upcoming episode, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Be Your Own Love Goals, or check out our website at lovegoalspodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Bye.